Chapter 754. The Third Prince of the Immortal Vampires. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Swoosh, swoosh. Another fight was about to break out. However, something unexpected was about to happen. After hesitating for a long time, Mulinxai finally made her move. Her body flashed and she reappeared by La's side like a spectre. She hit out a palm at his right shoulder. La did not expect Mulinxai to attack him. He did not guard against her. Bam! Crunch! La's right shoulder blade was crushed. The iron sword in his hand fell to the ground with a clang, and he flew out to 50 meters away. Mulinxai's palm strike was neither heavy nor light. She had merely injured La so that he could not fight anyone in the next 3 days. La felt an intense pain in his arm. The right side of his body had turned numb and a strong evil energy invaded his meridians. He could not recover from the injury in a short time. He stared, completely bewildered, at Mulinxai. Not only was La baffled, everyone around was left flabbergasted by Mulinxai's strike. No one had expected Lady Saint of the demonic sect to injure her fellow swordsman. What has happened? What on earth has happened? Why is the demonic sect fighting among themselves? Numerous people were stunned. No one reacted for some time. Ha ha. At the summit of Scroll Mountain, Gai Tanjiao started guffawing loudly. Ouyang Huan, you tried to make your Lady Saint deal with my junior brother Lin Yue. Are you surprised that your plan backfired? Ouyang Huan ignored Gai Tanjiao, his face clouding over with anger. Despite his good breeding, he was enraged by Mulinxai's treacherous act. Mulinxai had damaged the demonic sect's reputation. The next day, all the monks in the world would mock them for having a traitor as their saintess. Ouyang Huan tried hard to control his emotions. He got up and strolled over to the side of the mountain, stopping at the uppermost step of the stairway. He looked down and said, Snake 2, see your highness the saintess back. Make her rest and leave everything else to me. Snake 2's eyes were cold and piercing. She stood on her tiptoes and propelled herself downward, reappearing at Mulinxai's side. Snorting contemptuously, she said, let's go, Saintess. Zhang Yuochen focused his eyes and raised his arm. He pressed his sword against Snake 2's back and said, where do you think you are taking her? After all, Mulinxai had injured Lu as a desperate attempt to prevent their upcoming fight. Snake 2 did not fear Zhang Yuochen. She gave a winsome smile and said gently, is your heart aching? Kill me then kill me, and she can stay. Zhang Yuochen's eyes were cold. He raised his sword and was about to slash at Snake 2's neck. Don't. Mulinxai shook her head vigorously at Zhang Yuochen. She said, don't worry. They can't do anything to me. Zhang Yuochen instantly withheld his strike and gradually returned to his senses. He clenched his teeth and finally put the void sword away. Mulinxai injuring La had indeed affected Ouyang Huan's plans. Her act had serious repercussions on the demonic sect. Yet Mulinxai was, after all, still a saintess. Many big shots within the sect were protecting her. They would not allow her to be punished too severely. If Zhang Yuochen had killed Snake 2 to keep her with him, he might be able to protect her. The issue, however, would escalate. Even Mulinxai's family would be implicated and punished by the demonic sect. After considering the matter from another angle, Zhang Yuochen could only withdraw. How helpless he felt at times. Snake 2 turned back and smiled. Don't worry, I will dote on her for your sake, ha ha. Snake 2 escorted Mulinxai down the Scroll Mountain. Zhang Yuochen stared at their departing silhouettes. His 5 fingers gripped his sword hilt tightly. He only hoped for Blackie to do his duty and take care of Mulinxai. Ha ha. A splendid show. A truly splendid show. My trip to the Yin and Yang sect hasn't disappointed me at all. To come here and be instantly treated to such a splendid show. A blood-red cloud appeared in the dark horizon. Like an ocean condensed from blood, it billowed toward the Scroll Mountain. Even at 50 kilometers away, there was a nauseating stench of blood in the air. Swoosh! The blood-red cloud soon came to rest at the foot of the Scroll Mountain. The blood chi kept contracting, becoming denser and denser. It turned into a humanoid-shaped pool of blood. The pool of blood thickened and finally turned into a blood armor. It revealed its true form at last, a heretical-looking young man. His face was very pale, as though covered with a white face mask. His lips, however, were crimson. His nose was aquiline and his eyes deep-set. Dressed in a scarlet dragon robe, His long hair was secured behind him by a jade handband. Surprisingly, he was dressed in female attire. A man dressed in female attire, with feminine makeup. He looked rather bizarre. Zhang Yuochen frowned slightly and mumbled to himself, "What a bloody stench. Could he be an immortal vampire?" The man's ears were very sharp. He seemed to have heard Zhang Yuochen's mumblings and shrieked out a laugh. "Young man, you are quite knowledgeable. I am indeed a prince of the immortal vampires." At the foot of the mountain, all the monks close to him were stunned. They retreated backward, trying to keep a good distance away. Even after 800 years, the notorious immortal vampires could still terrify monks in Kunlun's field. All the major factions had learned of the immortal vampires breaking their seal and escaping from Manji Island. Everyone thought that the vampires would hide in the dark and live as recluses. They were not eager to deal with them. They would only discuss the matter at the upcoming Sword Technique Conference and think of a way to eliminate them. No one had expected a prince of the immortal vampires to appear at the Kunlun's banquet. And he had appeared so blatantly. How could the immortal vampires be so confident? Had they recovered enough, after 800 years, to avenge themselves on the world's monks again? Amitabha. The voice of a man chanting Buddha's name reverberated throughout the Scroll Mountain and Shintai City. Soon, a Buddhist monk in a blood-red cassock emerged from the soil, 10 meters to the prince's right. Every inch of the monk's body shimmered with a golden sheen. Buddhist scripts could be seen swirling rapidly, merging with the sheen. The prince of the vampires smiled and said, "Jialuogu, you are too slow." The Buddhist monk in the blood-red cassock put his palms together and chanted Buddha's name. "I am surely not as fast as the third prince." Quite obviously, the two of them were associates. Both of them had rushed over to attend the banquet. Ouyang Huan swept a gaze over the two men standing at the foot of the mountain. His gaze fell on the monk in the blood-red cassock. He started slightly and said in a deep voice, "I thought the Death Zen sect is only preaching on the islands outside this train? How dare you come over to the eastern region?" Ouyang Huan had correctly identified Jialuogu, causing a huge shock. "What? Is that monk from the Death Zen sect? How dare they? The Yin and Yang sect isn't a place they can just turn up like that. Don't you know the Death Zen sect? It's a cult founded by a Buddhist traitor. He and his followers once preached within Kunlun's field throughout its 5 domains. But their teachings were too heretical. They distorted values and disseminated evil principles. The Ministry of War once sent troops to put them down and eliminate them. But ultimately, the Death Zen sect was just too powerful. The Ministry of War could only inflict casualties on the sect and drive its members to the islands. It couldn't completely destroy them. The battle against the Death Zen sect was the only time the Ministry of War failed in its mission. It couldn't eliminate the sect entirely. You can see how insidious and terrifying its power was. The third prince of the immortal vampires and Jialuogu were like two claps of heaven shaking thunder. Even the half-saint patriarchs present trembled in their bodies. An immortal vampire and a monk from the Death Zen sect appearing in public within Kunlun's field? What had made them so brave? The third prince glanced at the summit of the Scroll Mountain. His gaze rested on Saint Lady and he narrowed his eyes. He said with a smile, "I know that the Empress has issued an edict, saying that anyone can stake their claim as an heir of Kunlun's field. I'm here to do just that. I hope no one's objecting, haha."